Hi everyone. It's me. It's Mary. Yeah, I listened to the episode of uh, Monster of the Week and Non-Human Biologics that Chris put out, um, kind of explaining everything with Jeremy, and I figured that it was time that I did the same with Rudits because, yeah, I mean, for those of you who might not know, Jeremy passed away on July 3rd. I'm recording this on August 29th. So it's been almost all of July, all of August. So it's been, 2 months, almost 2 months. Uh, it's so weird because it feels like so much longer and yet so much shorter, also. Um, yeah. And the reason why I'm doing this is because I realized that while we talked about it on Blue Sky and we talked about it in the Discord, that maybe not everybody is in those spaces, and maybe there are people who are just kind of waiting for the next episode of Rude Eats to come out. And while I can tell you that there will be other episodes of Rude Eats, I'll go into that a little bit more later. Sorry, I have allergies and stuff and a cold. This is really not a good day to be doing this, but I felt the urge finally. Yeah, so while there will be other episodes of Rude Eats, it's not going to be for a while, and it's not going to obviously look or sound the same, right? Because Jeremy is no longer with us. So yeah, I guess let's get the podcast stuff out of the way. For sure, we will not be doing I will not be doing a feedback episode for season 2 because all of the messages that we received are like, hey Mary and Jeremy, or hey Jeremy and Mary, and I don't know that I can really put myself through that, so we're not going to do that. But I know how much this podcast, or how much joy this podcast brought to Jeremy. Oh, sorry, we're like watching me discover the show and make predictions that were a lot of the time very right. So I really do want to finish out this project. Jeremy was a completionist, and I think that it would annoy him to know that this is not done. So I want to make sure that we finish it. And I think that, what better way to honor him and to celebrate him than to finish season 3 of Hannibal. One thing I can tell you is that we had worked on the intro song for season 3. We had picked out a song, we had written lyrics. We had picked out, who is going to be singing it and who, all of that stuff. So that's also something that I want to get done again for him, because I know that he was really excited about that. It was his idea. Like the foundation of it was his idea, and we picked the song together, and it was just like such a good thing to do. One of the last times that we got together to like just chat was what we had called coffee and raps. So we used to love like recording early in the morning because like, yeah, that's how we usually worked it out. Weekend mornings, that's what we would do, and we would get like coffee and just like record a podcast on Hannibal. And so when he wasn't feeling so good anymore, he was like, well, maybe we can't record an episode, but maybe we can work on the lyrics for the song. And I was like, yeah, that sounds awesome, so let's do that. And that was really one of the last times that we got together to talk. And now it's funny because I can't remember if we did that before we recorded the final episode of season 2 or not. But what I can tell you now, though, is that it's pretty much a miracle that we were able to record the finale, the season 2 finale, because he was in a lot of pain at that point, and sitting still was really hard for him. And so, especially given that our podcast episodes were so freaking long, right? It's just kind of ridiculous to talk so much about like a 40-minute episode of TV. But yeah, I don't know how that worked out, but he was fine to record this. And I just remember like recording and looking at the time and being like, oh my God, he must be in so much pain. Oh my God. Like I was just so concerned about like how he was feeling. But it turns out that we were able to record it. And I'm so thankful that we were, because I know how excited he was for me to get to that point. I know how meaningful, it was. This is so weird. Yeah. So that's for the podcast. Like I said, I really do want to finish it out. And there is another song that he worked on that I'm going to, reach out to the right people to make sure that it's properly produced, properly sung, properly, everything. And I'm going to make sure that, again, he is properly celebrated. Sorry. What else? The other things. Yes. The other things that I wanted to talk about, I guess, it's just kind of like, it feels so weird to say, but remembering Jeremy and like celebrating him. And I don't know how much I can really get into that, just because, as you can tell, it's very raw for me still. Just on a personal note, as you might know, I lost my grandfather earlier this year on my birthday, might I add, which was a very weird situation to be in. Jeremy passed away this summer, and I am also currently bracing for another loss that I'll talk about at some other point. So it's been a really tough year so far. And I'm recording this, I guess, before the fall semester starts, because I have a big fall semester coming up, with my dissertation proposal being due, with me TAing my very first course, and just like a lot of stuff that is happening and that is exciting and that I can't talk to Jeremy about, even though he would be so excited about all that. And I guess that's kind of what I wanted to talk about here, that unlike a lot of the people that he podcasted with, I didn't actually know him for that long. But he had really become like one of my best friends. And I don't, much like Chris, actually, I don't know what it is with Jeremy. Maybe he just like sought us out, those socially anxious people who don't make friends easily. Maybe that was his kind of people. But I don't make friends easily. I don't open up to people easily. And Jeremy just made it easy. And yeah, and I know that he did that with a lot of people. He was an amazing person in public, but he was also an amazing person in private. Always had a way of checking in with people in DMs, like in one-on-one conversations. And there's so much that so much good that he did that we didn't even know about, that kind of came up in the wake of all this. But yeah, he had become one of my best friends over the course of, I want to say, like a year or two. Well, Fluffy has a lot of things to say about that too. He knows I'm telling the truth. Yeah, he knows. Yeah. So anyway, like I said, I really want this last season of Rude Eats to be a celebration of him and the amazing person that he was, which kind of feels weird, celebrating an amazing person by talking about NBC TV show Hannibal. But here we are. So yeah, if this is the first time that you're hearing about Jeremy's death, I'm very sorry. I know how much he meant to everybody. And yeah, I hope I'm not telling you this for the first time, but the entire community that he had built through podcasting was really his pride and joy. He was so thankful to be surrounded by such amazing people. And I'm just so happy that I got to podcast with him, that I got to be his friend. So thank you, everybody, for being a part of this project. For continuing to be a part of this project, you can still join the Discord. It's still, free and open to anyone over 18. We created a channel for anybody who wants to share thoughts or stories about Jeremy. And yeah, I will miss him forever. It's so funny because I've started watching new shows, right? And it feels so strange to not be able to talk to him about it. Okay, I gotta stop now because I'm blubbering. This is not fun for anybody. This is not a great audio experience for anybody listening. I'm so sorry about that. But yeah, if you're looking for a show to kind of change your mind or just take your mind off of terrible things, maybe I would suggest trying Best in Miniature from Netflix. It's also on CBC. It's a Canadian show about people who make miniatures, and honestly, it was a really good distraction for me. It's been great. I've also been watching Deadlock, which has been wonderful. I think Jeremy would have really liked Deadlock. I think I might have campaigned for us to podcast about Deadlock because I think he would have loved it, especially with all the lesbians. He would have loved the lesbians. So, yeah. Thanks everyone for listening to me blubber, cry, remember my friend. Like I said, I will get back to this podcast eventually. I just need to get some life stuff out of the way first, figure out how to go about this in a way that would honor him, quote unquote, the most, or maybe the one that would make him laugh the most, because that was always really good when he laughed. So yeah, thanks everyone.